This video is about one of the most important TensorFlow API, tf.data.Dataset. So what does it do? It supports very efficient input pipelines. So what's an input pipeline? Let's say you're about to start a project. You might have access to a large amount of data, but it's not necessary that you have to use all of them. So you slice the input data, form a raw source dataset, and pre-process it, and use it for further processes. This input data can be available in many different formats. You only take a particular portion of the data for your further processing. Pre-processing steps might include transformation of the selected data, like applying filters to remove unwanted informations. And you give the further data for further implementations. So the source data sets can be available in different formats. Some of the simplest formats are Python lists, Python dictionaries, text files, TF records, and various others. So let's see the simplest way to create a dataset using TensorFlow. So here we are in our Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook is the best way to visualize data, and the interactive cells make it very easy to see what's actually going on behind those codes. So I would recommend you to use Jupyter Notebooks as well. Let's start by installing TensorFlow. It's going to take a while. It's a huge library, so it'll take a while now. I'm not going to show you that part. I'm just going to skip to importing TensorFlow as TF. Now, if you're new to Jupyter Notebooks, you can see that the cell has not completed the execution because there is a small asterisk inside. The moment you get a digit, the input digit, then it means the cell has run and you're ready to proceed further. So by far, the most easiest way to create a data set is through tensor slices. That is, I just pass in a list, a Python list, let us say 1, 2, 3, and I check it. Now what we get here is tensor slice dataset element with these specifications. And what does the specification tell us? The data has no shape. If it had 1 dimension or 2 dimension or anything like that, it would say the shape of the data inside these parentheses. But there is no shape, meaning these are scalars. And it is also telling you what is the data type that we are using here. Of course, they are all integers. And then we have no names for that. Apparently, you can name these operations. Just to look at the elements in the dataset now. Now we know the elements are 1, 2, and 3, but just to see in what format they are inside this dataset, let's just run a for loop through it and find it. So you can see each and every element is now a tensor. We'll learn more about that along the way, but for just now, you just know that these are all tensors and they have no shape right now, so meaning they are all scalars and they are all integer types. There are other ways in which you can input data. So that is text line dataset. So previously you had from tensor slices. Now you will have text line dataset. From the name, you can identify that you're going to take the data from text files. I already have 2 text files inside this folder called text files, file 1 and file 2. So I'm just going to name them right here. And I'm going to copy paste the same thing, just changing the name of the file. Okay. So let's see. Again, we have got a tensor specification of no shape, and the type here is now string. Let's go into the files and check it. It's just a string that says this is file 1 and this is file 2. So the data has been now set up, but it is in the format of a string. Now instead of just typing in separate file names For example, if I had 50 such files together with all same pattern and similar data sets, then I can just go ahead and mention the path where the files are, and then I can add an asterisk to say that I'm taking all of the files inside that folder of the extension txt. So let's go and check it out. It still gives the same data, but now it is in the form of a shuffle dataset. In the next video, let us see how to transform these simple datasets using TensorFlow.